What's going on YouTube? It's No Monies here, aka No Monies, and today we're giving top 10 tips that can help you improve your gameplay in BTD. Hopefully you guys find this helpful. I'm sure that you guys already know a lot of these tips, but even though they are very small tips, they are very relevant and can help you win a lot more games. I also want to thank you guys for the support on this channel. We've started it 8 months ago, but we have almost 5,000 subscribers, and it's thanks to you guys. And I just wanted to say, I usually don't thank you guys, but it's just a given that I thank you guys. So first one, we want the spike storm and the maelstroms to be placed on top of the track and in the bends if you can, and right on top of the moabs and BFBs. The spike storms you want to upgrade to at least a 1-4 because it almost doubles its popping power and it's very much worth it. Sometimes the 2-4 if you really need the lead upgrade. I mean, it doesn't really matter at that point. So here I'm going to simulate how to defend round 20 with Spacneer, right? I could put the spike factory where I had it before, but I'm going to send a BFB on round 20, try to collect the lead balloons. I'm trying to collect as many balloons so that they don't bother the spike factory at the bottom. You can build a couple more spikes. And here I upgrade to the lead, just in case they send leads, like if an enemy would. And here I'm going to upgrade. It's in the bend so that it's going to do as much damage. The reason being is because the spikes are the densest at the tower and they spread out, so they're thinner, right? So that's why you want to wait until the BFB is on top, so it's going to do the most damage. As you can see, the spikes ball and the boom trap didn't really do anything, but it's just for safety. Here's a clip of me actually doing it in game. To zomg, it's actually really hard to defend. With spike factory, you need a 4-2 spike factory at the end. So my spike ball should be a spike mines, but I kind of wanted to greed. Here I actually don't spike storm on top of the BFBs. The reason being is I don't want to spike storm and then have like a gajillion ceramics. I actually want to leave the BFBs and then focus on these mobs first. That's why I put the spike factory at the bottom instead of on top of the BFBs. But as you can see, it doesn't really work out well, and I still get overwhelmed with ceramics. But that's kind of the best way to use a spike storm on top of the balloons. And I would have defended if I had a 4-2, but that's kind of just the placement and the upgrades. You at least want a 1-4. The maelstrom and glaive floors go clockwise, and you want the balloons to go counterclockwise or against the grain. So here, the direction is going downwards of the maelstrom and the balloons are going upwards, so that's the most effective way. And also I place it very close to the track. Here the balloons go up and so do the maelstrom direction. It's going clockwise and it's also going up. As you can see, it leaves a little bit of red balloons, but here is against moab on a bend that's really tight and right next to it, so it shreds the moab layer into ceramics. Here is the same principle. A maelstrom close to the moab and on top of it, and it's going against the grain of the maelstrom. Here I do it with the grain, which is not as effective, and as you can see, it just barely misses out. So the timing and the placement is very key. Same thing as the maelstrom direction, the glaive lord direction is also clockwise, and you want the balloons to be going counterclockwise against the grain. So here I demonstrate against round 25 regen rainbows. The glaives are going clockwise and the balloons are also going clockwise. So as you can see, it's regenning pinks, regenning yellows. It's not that efficient, right? But if I just replace it down there, it's gonna do a lot better because the glaives are now going against the balloons. Now it's just regen blues, regen greens. Just the one placement, not even that it's lower, it's going against the balloons. Tip number 3 is common targeting. So I'm gonna go through a lot of the towers and which targeting benefits them most. So for example, this trip dart, you want it on close because it shoots down that straight line. And the second 01 dart, you want it on last. The reason being is because it can't see the first path. If you put the trip dart on last, it sees the first path and it's going to shoot down that way. Sometimes you do want to do that, sometimes you don't. Here is going to be my jug spot. It's on last, and you put it down there. You don't want it too high because then it could see the front and it's not going to shoot down that straight line. The spots are okay because they don't have the extra range. So that's why it's okay to put them a little bit higher, and that's my third spalt range. For the tack shooter, you want them to put it against the bend where you can use as many blades as you can. For a bomb shooter, you want them always on close. The reason being is because they shoot really slow, so you want them to not miss any balloons. Glue gunners, you always want them on strong for like ceramics or moabs. For Dragon's Breath, you want them on strong to hit the ceramics. Lightning, it's okay to have them on first. I spike storm just as an example to show that the spikes are densest around the spike tower, and then it thins out at the end of the track. Chipper and Cobra, you want them on strong. And I didn't show it with Sniper as well. Number 4, you want to hide your farmer in the top under the lives bar so that they can't see how much money you're getting from the farms. The most useful is the 4-2 farm. Other than that, it doesn't really matter, but here you see that the farmer, it still collects the balloons, but it doesn't show. Number 5, double ice stalling, you want unsynchronized timing. So how this works is you place one ice, and you want the second ice placed to be not the same timing so you can stall as many balloons. So it's really important that this ice is a 2-1. You want the 2-1 because the 1 on the right side makes the balloons that it freezes go slower so that the second ice can catch it. So bam, bam, right? You want to place it like 1 second after so that it's unsynchronized, which means that I can double ice it. And we're not leaking that much to pinks, right? We use 1 spike on round 1 for the AI, and then we still have a lot of lives. Black balloons are actually easier to defend because they're slower than pinks, so we're actually going to defend it much better than pink balloons. A more in-depth video on heli ice. If you guys would like to see that, let me know. In-depth heli ice guide. Number 6, you want to go for a higher tier farms. For example, you always want to go for a plantation over 2-1-0 farms because it's more efficient. Here I give a picture on how the math works out. People go for plantations over republics because it's hard to afford a republic straight up. But tip 6.5, 2-4 BIAs do fill up faster, but the 1-4 is more efficient. It's just the math, it just works. You also want the extra 1500 on the plantation to go into defense so you can keep your BIA instead of selling it. Tip number 7, if you're ecoing, you want to anti-stall round 1 with a spike. This allows you to eco sooner with red balloons, pressure them with the force more defense, and also forces them to not get the 2 bananas they would get, or maybe even 1. And in this case against Troll, he was going with Farm Village, and since I anti-stalled, he would have leaked tons if he didn't start with the Wizard. So this really prevents him from farming well. Tip number 8, the dual eco boost trick and it also works with better or fertile soil. You want to do it on round 7, 4, and 10 or 14, but that's just my choice. I don't know if those are the best rounds, but basically for quick rounds like round 10, you want to leave the balloons out because it's a quick round. You get to not have any bananas die, and then you get to use the dual eco boost trick and get $75 instead of 60. Here, same thing. Round 10, I leave the bananas out because they're not going to die because it's such a quick round. And then you could use the dual eco boost trick on round 11. Tip number 9, if you permasabo, which means use the ability before the balloons comes out, then it will be permanently stalled. So here's an example. I'm going to permasabo on 7:45 game time, right? So any balloon that comes out between 45 and 8 minutes game time, they will be permanently stalled. And the reason being is the sabo is active during that time. And as you can see, the ZMG comes out before the minute mark. It's going to be permasaboed. The minute mark hits, so any ZMG that comes out now is not going to be permasaboed. But this is not sped up at all. Look, it's going to be like 8-10 game time, and it's still going to be saboed. So that's really helpful. Number 10, the final tip. This is really good against balloon traps. At the start of round 14, you want to send 3 zebras, 2 rainbows, and 5 pinks. I'm going to link the video where I found this out in the description. You guys should go check out his channel. But this basically overwhelms the balloon trap, and it makes the balloon trap not spawn fast enough. This is an example of how deadly it can be. Although it's BTD lag, it's really effective. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this type of video. If you guys do think it was helpful, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Nobody's catching up. Peace.